As most of you know, unfortunately, I have been bearish on the market as a whole for about the past month. And in this video, I'm going to share with you why that is, the exact indication that has happened in the market that normally about 80% of the time leads to a 5% to a 12% correction. And in this video, we're going to go over the Mag 7 individually. So instead of just talking about QQQ or the S&P 500, we're going to go through all of the Mag 7 stocks. So this video might be a little bit lengthy, but as we head into potentially the rest of a week Q1 into maybe the beginning of a week Q2, I do think that this video is very important. Now, I want you to understand that number one, I do not want the market to fade. I do not short stocks. My system very simply looks to go long only. I don't short stocks predominantly because if we just turn on our long-term system, besides 2022, the market does not normally downtrend long enough in order to make it worth it for me to short the market as a whole. My system is always going to lose when the trend in the market reverses, which means if I can have multiple trades to the upside and multiple wins before the eventual sell-off and loss, then it's going to pay more than obviously I'm going to end up losing when the trend eventually switches. So that's the first thing. I don't want the market to fade. I am not happy if the market fades, but I do have to remain objective. And I feel that my goal here on X or on YouTube is to be that objective voice of reason. The second thing I want you to understand is that any system and any indicators that you have are not going to be right all the time. The two systems that we're going to be talking about today, both obviously do not have a perfect win rate. The long-term system has an accuracy of about 55%. What makes it so strong is the risk versus reward, which is very, very high. And then my short-term strategy has about 76% win rate, which once again is not 100%. You do not need to be right all of the time. We are not going to be right all of the time. But let's get started first before we get into individual stocks, looking at the two major indexes that I focus on, which is going to be the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. We're going to turn on our long-term trading system. Now, this system and this indicator basically goes off of two major things. Number one is going to be the monthly BX, which is the indicator that you see at the bottom of your screen. This indicator looks to only go long when we are in a bull cycle. A bull cycle is dictated by the monthly BX trender, which you can see at the bottom of your screen, showing an increase to light red or showing green. That is step one of its entry signal. The second step is that we also have to be trending up. So you can see that this red band here, which dictates trend, we need to also be trading above it. So this here back in July, indication of a false bottom. This here in November 2022, false bottom. It wasn't until we finally broke above that trend that we get both of our entry criteria. So if we look at the QQQ first and foremost, look at the NASDAQ, you're going to see that our long-term strategy has historically about a 55% win rate. If you look at the top right of that panel, you're going to see that on average, when we enter into a bull cycle, it lasts for about 45 candles. Since we're on a weekly chart, that's about 45 weeks. And you're going to see the risk versus reward is 8-to-1. This is what gives this long-term profitability or this long-term strategy such profitability. When we are winning, we're winning on average about 30%. And when we're wrong, we're losing about 3.6%. So very low losses, very high wins. So let's take a look at the most recent bull cycles. And we're not going to go into the other stocks with this much explanation. Once you understand what we're talking about in the strategy, we'll be able to go through these stocks a lot faster. But I want you to notice that when this monthly BX is green or increasing light red, and we are in an uptrend, this is considered a bull cycle. And I have all of these bull cycles broken down with a green background. So you'll see that here we had a bull cycle from June 2025 that lasted until about the end of January into February of 2026. This was about a 14.5% rally. You're going to see that prior to that, we had a bull cycle that lasted from January 2023. My head might be in the way. January 2023. And that lasted over 2 years. This removed the bull cycle back here in February of 2025. And once that happened, the market pulled back 24%. If we go back to the time prior to that, you're going to see that we had a massive bull cycle from 2020 in May up until about January of 2022. Then, once that monthly BX broke trend and closed red, we entered into a bear market where the market sold off about 31% in 360 days. Then in 2020, obviously, there was really no way for us to not deal with that massive sell-off. So even with that huge sell-off, we would have had to deal with it. Market bounce. This would have been a good example of this failing. This is one of those small times where it turning red was not the time to be getting out. It actually bounced. But one thing you have to understand is that it's never going to be perfect. Sometimes we're going to get these quick reversals like we had here in 2019 and in 2020. But the thing that we're trying to do with this indicator specifically is avoid catastrophic failure or avoid a catastrophic sell-off. I don't want to be in the market if it's going to reject 16, 17%. Worst case scenario, if it just bounces, we can get right back in. We could get right back in for this rally right here in 2020. We could have gotten right back in to click this rally. What we don't want to do is just hold through a bear market like 2022, or geez, I mean, even worst case scenario, if we go back to 2016, or if we go all the way back to 2008, this strategy and this indicator would have kept us out of the 2008 financial crisis. So that is our goal, right? Our goal is to trade the bull cycles. Our goal is to focus on trading the market when it is in a strong bull trend. And our goal is to stay out of the market when it looks like there could be a potential correction. So we'll see here that as of the end of January going into February, this indicator closed red. We broke the trend. And now, historically, there's normally about an 80% chance that we are going to see at least a 5% correction in QQQ, which would bring the NASDAQ down to about $570, to worst case about a 12 to 14% correction on the NASDAQ, which would bring us to about $500. Now, as I stated in the beginning of this video, I'm not shorting the market. I really hope that this just does not happen. I truly hope that I am wrong because number one, it's not good for my portfolio, right? I will still hit a loss in my fund. It won't be as bad as just holding, bag holding a lot of companies, but I still will probably have a bad first quarter of this year. It's a part of the game. There's no way around it. However, in most cases, this is going to reject. Now, the S&P 500 has yet to confirm that, right? The S&P 500, as you can see, is still open in a bull cycle. This indicator, the monthly BX at the bottom, is showing dark red. So if this month continues to persist with a sell-off, when the month closes, this monthly BX will close dark red and it will signal the end of the bull cycle. And for the S&P 500, it will still signal a potential 5% correction to about 630 to 620 to a worst case correction down to about $600 to maybe $580. So what you're going to notice is that as of right now, there are some conflicting signals. You have the NASDAQ, which is showing confirmed bearish. You have the S&P 500, which is still bullish, but not looking hot. Now, if we start breaking down the overall Mag 7, which is what a lot of people are invested in and focused on, you'll notice that there's also a lot of discrepancies. And the one thing that I really want to state is that a lot of stocks that are either in the S&P 500 or in the NASDAQ or in the Mag 7 do not have to trade with each other. I've seen a lot of times where people are saying, how do you expect the S&P 500 to go down, but Tesla could potentially go up? How do you expect Microsoft to recover a bit, but the S&P 500 to go down? And if you look, like the S&P 500 has slowly been going up and sitting sideways as of recent. QQQ has slowly been sitting sideways as of recent. But if you look at a lot of stocks like Netflix, besides the most recent recovery, they have been moving opposite of the S&P 500. If you look at, for instance, Microsoft, it's been moving opposite of the S&P 500. If you look at Google, which we'll look at all these in more detail, it's been moving with the S&P 500, obviously more parabolic to the upside. So there are a lot of examples where a stock can move completely separate from the index. So let's go through first and let's talk about the number one stock that people are really focused on and worried about, and that is going to be Nvidia. Now, I have been bullish on Nvidia for a while now, right? I was bullish after we had that bounce back here in April, and then our long-term model actually had an entry point back here in June. However, to close out the month of February, I officially removed all of my shares from all of my funds. I removed all of my options from all of my funds, and I removed my bullish thesis. Reason being, long-term model tells us this is normally the time to exit. monthly BX confirmed dark red at the bottom of your screen. And you can see that, from where our initial long-term model pinged an entry to where it ended up exiting was about a 25% profit. Pretty damn good. Now, if we go back, you're going to see that obviously this is a time we want to be trading Nvidia. This is a time we want to be trading Nvidia. When it's dark red, AKA there is no highlighted background, this normally means the stock is going to sell off. So in this case here, worst case in 2025, we had about a 33% pullback. Here in 2022, we had close to a 55% pullback. In 2021, it never pulled back, right? This is where our entry signal or our exit signal happened, and it was invalidated. And this is going to happen, pretty frequently, at least 25-30% of the time. You can see back here, getting out would have saved us close to a 37% downside. Here in 2018, it didn't really do much. It did bounce, so we would have gotten out at not an ideal time. But I want you to also remember and understand, what I want to trade is an environment where the market goes up quickly and drastically. I do not want to trade, obviously, downside. But more importantly, I don't even want to trade a compressionary time period or a sideways time period. My goal as a fund manager is to take my capital and rotate it into something that is going to give me the best possible return in the fastest amount of time. It's called profit velocity, and that is what I'm focusing on all of the time. I do not want to just have something that's going to sit there and do absolutely nothing. Like, for instance, going back to 2015, I would have been happy selling here, even though it means I got out at a worse price, because I would rather rotate that money than just hold it for 63 days. Because here's the thing, I can get right back in and then trade this move to the upside. So historically, when this is not in a bull cycle, it is not a good time to be in Nvidia. Now, I want to understand, you guys probably know this by now, I'm not a fundamental investor. I'm not looking to just hold stock long term. I am looking at the technicals behind these setups. And what this monthly BX trender is going to show is relative strength and buying pressure. In order for a stock to go up, there needs to be strength. There needs to be more buyers than sellers. There needs to be, obviously, the market is an auction. There needs to be people willing to overpay in the short term to continue to drive prices up. That is not what this indicator is showing. And so, in my opinion, I think worst case Nvidia is probably going to sell off to about $120. I think maybe 146 would be the easier sell off for this to happen. But I do ultimately think that we are probably in store for a 20% to maybe 31% sell off. And as I said before, I hope that that is not the case. The next stock we're going to look at is Apple. Right now, Apple is currently in a bull cycle. You can see that bull cycle started back in August. You're going to see the monthly BX is showing green. Now, this month right here for the month of March so far is red. However, the thing that you need to take into account is that even though it's showing red, it has not confirmed red. The month is still open and still happening. So let's say that the month bounces in March, we could see that flip back to green. So that's why we only care about confirmed entries and confirmed exits. So there is a chance that Apple bounces here, and there is a chance that this indicator flips back to green. But as of right now, this is considered bullish. Even though the rest of the market has been bearish, this is considered bullish. So as of right now, the expectation would be that we're probably going to bounce in this range pretty soon. Now, the next stock that we're going to be looking at is Meta. Meta is currently bearish within our system. If we take a look up here to the right, you're going to see that the average win is about 34%, or the average bull cycle. The average bull cycle lasts about 37 candles or 37 weeks. And you will see that we are not in a bull cycle, right? The cycles that we want to trade is this. This was a very short-lived bull cycle. Sometimes they don't, end up that perfectly. But in most cases, when we are no longer in a bull cycle, the market's either going to enter into a bear market, which I don't necessarily think is going to happen. Price is either going to compress or price is normally going to correct. All of these are not ideal situations for me to really be trading the stock. And so that is why, as of right now, I am currently bearish on Meta. If we also put up our trend indicator, you're going to see that we're trading in a bear trend. So this is why my thought process has been that price is probably going to bounce into the market bias and then sell off one more time. So as of right now, unfortunately, I am bearish on Meta. Now, the next stock that we're going to take a look at is Microsoft. Microsoft has been selling off for a while now. We publicly called the top for Microsoft at the end of December. And since that ended up closing there, the stock has sold off about 20%. So this is a good example right now of what a correction would look like in the case of Microsoft. You're going to see here as well that if we zoom out, most of the time when we are not in a bull cycle, price is either going to compress or sell off. Most of the time, worst case, about 20% to that absolute low. So Microsoft has already put in like a good portion of the downside. And it does look like, if I put on this monthly bias here, that we're probably going to bounce. This has been a very, very strong support level for Microsoft in the past. So Microsoft is looking like we could have a short-term bottom, but I'm still not buying because we are in a bear cycle. What I think is more realistically going to happen here is best case, it bounces and then we reject one more time. So at this point, Microsoft is bearish on the macro time frame. Short term, could see a potential bottom, but I'm still not chasing it. Now, the next stock we're going to look at is Google, right? Google is moving opposite of all of these stocks. You have Netflix, which has been selling off, Microsoft, which has been selling off, Meta, which has been compressing in a bear market, and you have Google that has just been face ripping basically since June or July. From low to high, ran about 98%. So if we look at Google, this is still in a bull cycle, but this is late stages of a bull cycle, right? We know the average length is about 35 weeks. And if we look, we're coming up as of right now on about 33 weeks. So this, in my opinion, looks like it's probably going to continue to sell off maybe to $280 and then potentially bounce. That said, I am not a buyer of Google right now because it's just trading at too much of a premium, right? The time to be a buyer would have been in July of last year, August of last year. Right now, we're still in a bull cycle, but you would be overpaying short term. So Google is still bullish and considered bullish. Not a time to buy, in my opinion, but we could see a potential bounce coming up relatively soon. Then the next stock is Amazon. So Amazon, you're going to see, is currently in a bear cycle. Now, this one has been sitting sideways for a while. And this is a good example of, like, even though a strategy is going to work really well long term, it doesn't mean that the next couple of trades are going to be well. Right here, we had a signal of a bear cycle and price bounced 20%. We have a signal of a bear cycle, price bounces 10% before selling off. So just because this bear signal is in the market doesn't mean it has to sell off. But what we're trying to avoid is this, right? What we're trying to avoid is just bag holding a company while it shits the bed. That's not what we want to do. And so in the case of Amazon, Amazon is considered to be in a bear cycle. So I am not trading it. And then the final stock, good old Tesla, the darling of basically what we talk about here. And you're going to see that as of right now, we are still in a bull cycle. Now, the initial entry of that bull cycle would have been back at the end of August of 2025. So if you would have initially entered on that entry at one point, you would have been up about 48%. Right now, you'd be up about 18%. Now, Tesla is considered bullish because obviously monthly BX is showing buying pressure. It is showing red as of right now, but has not confirmed a red close. And if we're going to bounce, it's going to be here. So Tesla is very much so at this point at a make or break point, a make or break level. So in my opinion, Tesla is at a good level because we're either going to bounce, right? We're either going to bounce up to the upside and we're going to continue this cycle, or if things start to sell off, right? The monthly BX will close dark red at the end of this month, and you'll most likely probably take a 10 to 15% loss. And this is what makes trading hard because there's so many different conflicting pieces of information that are currently in the market. But in my opinion, this is why you need to have a true system, an exact reason to enter, an exact reason to exit, so that you're never left wondering, what do I do when the market is showing blank? Because here's the truth. I am bullish on Tesla right now. I am bearish on Meta. I am not trading it. I am not trading Microsoft right now. I'm not trading Netflix, which is another one. Netflix is still red. I think Netflix is probably going to reject between 100 to 108, and I'm just going to stick to my system. I can't explain to you not only how well it will help you from a long-term trading perspective as far as profitability, but the sheer amount of peace that it brings you to have an exact system as to why to enter and exit. I hope this video helped. If you guys want to get access to my entire trading strategy, the link is in our course library down below. All these courses are in sequential order from step 1 to step 5. The access to all of the indicators used within the system are there. And I actually have a new course coming later on this month, which will also be free. So stick around and get ready for that. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll see you next.